Hello, my group consists of Juan David Escobar, Carlos Andrés Rojas, Carlos Eduardo Guerrero, and myself, Jaylanis Gomez. I will present a project entitled The Influence of English Songs on the Development of Basic Vocabulary in Third Grade Children at La Paz Educational Institution. Hello, my name is Jaylanis Gomez. I will talk to you about the introduction of the project. It is well known that teaching English in the primary education has become a priority due to the growing demand of communication skills in a foreign language such as English. However, many students in the early grades have difficulty acquiring basic vocabulary, which limits their comprehension, acquisition, and oral productions. Faced with this problem, the use of didactic and playful strategies such as songs in English becomes a motivating and meaningful pedagogical alternative. Songs are a playful resource that aids in memory, pronunciation, and words association in a real context. Therefore, this work focus on analyzing the influence of sound in the English of the development of basic vocabulary in the third grade children at the La Paz Educational Institution. The main aim is to consider sounds as a pedagogical tool for use in the classroom.
Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the context of our project. First of all, I'm going to present myself. My full name is Juan David Escobar. Now, I want to start with explain the context of our research. First of all, we have to know that this research will take place at La Paz institution with third grade students. At this age, we know that children in important stage to learn a second language, like English. However, we have noticed that many of them have problems recognizing, understanding, and using basic English words. Also, English classes are often taught in a traditional way. Teachers usually focus on repeating and memorizing words. Because of this, many students get bored, lose interest, and do not get good results. For this reason, we think it is important to try strategies that are more active and more connected to the way children learn and feel. One of these strategies is using English songs in class, so students can learn in a more fun and natural way.
Now we'll talk about the significance of this project. This project seeks to improve the way third grade children learning basic English vocabulary, as students often have difficulty remembering the new words when class are not motivating. Therefore, using sounds in English becomes a more fun, engaging strategy for them. Songs help students expand their vocabulary, understand the language, and refine their ear naturally, as they will be immersed in an environment where only English is spoken. This will make class more motivating and dynamic, and students will enjoy the more participate will be help them practice learning a foreign language.
Okay, teacher and classmate, now I'm going to talk about the purpose of our project. Okay, first of all, this project was created because we noticed that many third grade students at La Paz institution have difficulties learning English, especially when it comes to basic vocabulary. Many times, children forget new words easily, especially when classes are taught in a traditional way using repetition and memorization. So, when the class is not dynamic or fun, students lose interest quickly. For that reason, we thought about using English songs as a different strategy. We believe that songs can make the class more interesting and and attractive for children. The main goal of our project is to analyze if songs really help students learn new words more easily, improve their pronunciation, and feel more confident when they participate in class. We also consider that the music is already part of children's daily lives. They like to sing, repeat lyrics, and even though dance. So instead of seeing English as a difficult subject, they can learn in a more natural and enjoyable way.
Hello, good afternoon. I am Carlos Andres Rojas, and I will talk about how it influences or contributes to knowledge. Well, our topic, the use of songs to learn English in elementary school students, contributes greatly to knowledge because this study challenges the traditional idea that students must learn vocabulary through simple memorization of words or list of words, right? Instead, it demonstrates that children's songs also create an emotional and cognitive connection that can facilitate students' retention of English vocabulary. In the long term, this research, or our research, offers a perspective that demonstrates how the rhythm of video and music enhances the organization of words in memory and the categorization of vocabulary in elementary schools children.
Hello, I am Carlos Eduardo Guerrero, and today I want to share how our project makes a real difference in teaching practice. This work changed the usual way of teaching vocabulary in English. Instead of depending only on word lists or writing on the board, it suggests using children's songs as the main tool. In this way, the teacher moves from just giving lists to creating fun and meaningful experiences. Songs helps children remember words more easily thanks to rhythms and natural repetition, improve their pronunciation, and makes classes more dynamic and active. The result of that, 3rd grade students not only learn more vocabulary, but also enjoy it and use it with confidence. This is why this project encourages teachers to think about their own teaching and to add music as a strong and simple strategy that can be used in any primary classroom. This idea does not come from nowhere. It is supported by several studies done in different educational settings that hold and show the same benefits. For example, research in Colombian primary school and in other countries has shown that when teachers use songs, children build vocabulary faster and keep it longer, improve pronunciation, and take put much more in classes. In those studies, it was clear that students remember words because they connect them to the positive feelings, movement, and rhythms, something traditional lists cannot do. In addition, those words confirm that songs break the old idea that vocabulary only comes from memorizing on the board or in a dictionary. Thanks to those findings, we were able to plan real activities to 3rd grade that are already tested and work in sitting very close to ours. In short, these early studies gave us the scientific evidence and practical ideas we needed so our project is not just a nice idea, but a real and useful tool that any teacher can use their classroom right away. Because of this, our project directly helps improve teaching practice. It offers a motivating, easy to use, and test strategies that make English classes in primary school more dynamic, fun, and effective. The children learn better, teachers feel more confident, and the classroom becomes a place where learning English stopped being a duty and becomes a pleasant experience. Thanks for very much for your attention, and I'm ready to answer any question. No more, that's it.
Okay,
And
now
now
I
second
will
question
answer
answers,
that
what
question.
problems
It
do
says,
you first
what
students have
research
in
program
learning
you
what
conduct
problems
to
many of my
address
students
one of
face
these
how
problems?
difficult
You see,
understanding basic
one of
English
the main
vocabulary.
problems we see
These
in our
limits
classroom
their
that
ability
students
to
forget basic
understand,
English
learn, and
words
speak
quickly.
in foreign
Because of
language.
this, everyone
When
knows English
classes
project
are
where all
motivated
have to try a
and
different way
enough
of
for
teaching. And
third
this
grade
project
students
includes using
is
songs about simple
often
topics
traditional
like
strategies
colors,
also
animals,
to know
family,
smart
and
students
understand
that
their
is
grammar
have
for several
with
minutes.
clearly
Before starting, we would like the students should return to see
their
what
English
words
words,
they
participation,
know. It's like a
willingness to
that
learn it.
then
Immediately
songs more
that
often in
have
class
also
and sorry
acquired
always in class.
that
How
it
they
is
help
difficult to
and that they show
basic
more interest
vocabulary
in
using
participation.
methods
So
that are
when
totally
we apply a
appropriate for
formula
the
to another
students'
topic
English
to compare
songs.
the
For
results,
this reason, it is necessary
there
to
is
use
infinite
educational and playful
that we want to know
strategy
if songs really
the second question in English,
remember
what problems that
vocabulary
students have in learning more meaningful many of my students difficult understanding basic especially learning in classroom their ability to understand.
Hello, Ross here again. This time I will briefly explain why some research can be categorized as primary and secondary sources and how they contribute to our topic. Okay? Well, this initial investigation called the role of sounds in first graders oral communication development in English is categorized as a primary source because it collects original information through direct observations, video recordings, with the and field notes from first grade students with the aim of identify how some influence English vocabulary learning. Okay, now this is a second primary source called Strengthening English and Vocabulary Through Music that focuses primarily on understanding the process of student learning English with music, where field diaries, assessment rubrics, and tests are used to measure progress before and after using music to develop English vocabulary.
This is a secondary resource study because it uses or analyzes existing authors and theories to represent and explain language learning and how important the use of a song in elementary school. This article by Rita Hermida is a secondary resource because it mainly reviews, analyzes, and discussing findings from many other researchers' original studies. It brings together works by authors such as Mandani, Kurnia, Juliana, and several more, and explains why they discover about sounds and vocabulary. Although the authors add a small classroom observation from one kindergarten, the main purpose of the paper is to gather and interpret exciting researches, not to present completely new primal data of its own. These studies strongly support our project on using children's songs in English to develop vocabulary with third grade students at La Paz Learning Institution. Research from Colombia, Argentina, Indonesia, and other places shows that songs help young learners remember words more easily through rhythm, repetition, and movement. Teachers in those studies observe that children participate more, enjoy the lesson, and keep vocabulary longer than with traditional lists or board work. The findings also confirm that songs create a fun, motivating atmosphere and improve pronunciation and confidence. All this evidence give us clear practical reasons to use the same strategy in our 3rd grade classes and show that it really works in real primary setting like ours. Thank you.
Finally, I'm going to answer the question what challenges did we face when carrying out the work? Okay, in order to answer this question, we have to know that one of the main challenges we faced during this project was finding reliable information. We had to search for academic articles, identify if there were primary and secondary sources, which was not easy. Another difficulty was selecting studies that were really related to our topic, which is the use of songs to teach basic vocabulary to elementary school students, especially in context similar to Valledupar. We also found it challenging to analyze the article critically and connect them to our purpose of explaining their importance and contribution to teaching practice. And finally, teamwork requires organization, responsibility, and good communication to integrate all parts on the project.